Hey up! Right, I got a plethora of press releases from Royal Enfield last week. The main one being, of course, the announcement of the Himalayan 450. I also got some interesting other little bits and pieces from them, but, you know, in isolation, they weren't really sort of individually, if you like, worthy of a video. So what I'm going to do today is just club them all together and give you the latest news from Royal Enfield. So we've got, starting off with a collaboration with Royal Enfield and a company called Unimatic on a special edition automatic watch. We've got the announcement of the new Aurora edition of the Royal Enfield 350 Meteor. And of course that electric Himalayan that everyone's been talking about for the last week. So, starting off with this tasty little watch. Now, Unimatic is an Italian design company that started up in 2015. And Royal Enfield have teamed up with Unimatic to create a sort of one-off special edition automatic timepiece, which I believe is limited to just 122 pieces. It features a sandblasted or vapour-blasted 316 stainless steel case with a case size of 40mm. 316 stainless steel being pretty much the industry standard for watch cases. It has a large, easy-to-use screw-down crown. Well, actually, I'm presuming it's a screw-down crown if it has 300 metres water resistance, which is protected by crown guards. It has a screw-down case back, which has been inscribed with the "Made Like a Gun" slogan. It features a Rolex Submariner-inspired dial, finished in a gloss black with the indices marked out in a vintage patinaed superluminova. The hour and minute hand are sort of divided pencil-shaped hands with a needle-shaped second hand with a lollipop-style counterbalance. It's powered by a Seiko NH35A movement, which is their proprietary or unbranded version of the 4R36 movement, I think it is. The same movement that you'll find in their Seiko Alpinist, or latest version of the Seiko Alpinist. And of course the latest version of their famous Monster dive watch. It's a very reliable workhorse of a movement that will last many decades with regular servicing, and it features hand winding and hacking. Now, the press release states that it's been tuned to 21,600 beats per hour. As far as I'm aware, that's the standard beat rate for this movement. And once it's been fully wound, it has a 41-hour power reserve. Now, strangely, there's no mention in the press release of the crystal material used, whether it's sapphire or just a normal mineral crystal. At this price point, €550, it should really be sapphire. Unfortunately, I just don't have that information. It comes supplied with a black nylon NATO strap, which is your best bet for motorcycling. And in addition, it's supplied with a cognac-coloured calfskin two-piece leather strap, just in case you want to dress it up a little bit for an evening out. Now, there's no doubt that this is an enthusiast's watch. You're paying a premium both for the Royal Enfield branding and for the fact that this is going to be a very rare watch indeed. Because numbers are very limited, Royal Enfield and Unimatic have decided to have, well, not a prize draw, but a draw in order to determine who will be eligible to purchase this watch, and I will leave a link in the video description down below where you can enter that draw. The actual draw closes at midnight tomorrow, the 16th of November, so if you want to be in with a chance of getting one of these watches, I suggest you pop over there now. Well, actually, no, not now, when the video's finished. Right, so moving on to the Royal Enfield Meteor Aurora Edition. The 350 Meteor has been a tremendous success for Royal Enfield worldwide. Now, to celebrate that success, Royal Enfield have decided to do not only a product line refresh of the Meteor 350, but also an introduction of the new Aurora range. The Fireball, Stellar and Supernova range are to continue. They're not being discontinued. This is an additional line to be positioned between the Stellar and Supernova range. Now, to quote Royal Enfield, positioned between the Stellar and Supernova, the Meteor 350 Aurora offers a stunning new range of colourways in Aurora Blue, Aurora Green, and yes, you've guessed it, Aurora Black, complementing the nature and character of the easy cruiser. The new Aurora range comes with a unique blend of retro-inspired elements such as spoked wheels, which is a first I think, and chrome-finished parts including the engine, exhaust system and components. It features a deluxe touring seat, tripper navigation, LED headlamps and aluminium switch cubes, I think it means switch gear. With the addition of the new variant, the Meteor 350 promises to appeal to those customers who are looking for a retro-looking easy cruiser from Royal Enfield. Royal Enfield say that the new colours are inspired by the colours of the sky and the horizon, and I actually quite like them. They've got a real vintage vibe to them. Now, they go on to say that in addition to the new Aurora range, Stellar and Supernova variants are going to get a little bit of a refresh. The existing ranges of Fireball, Stellar and Supernova also get some new features and updates. The top of the line Supernova range now gets a notch higher with the LED headlamp and aluminium switchgear, along with other premium elements and features. The Stellar range now gets the tripper navigation device as standard fitment, and the Fireball comes with an elegant black as standard stock colour. I'm presuming that wasn't available before. And obviously customers can personalise any of these bikes further with Royal Enfield's growing range of bespoke parts for the Meteor 350 motorcycles. Right, so coming down to pricing, as you would expect in the new season, prices are going to rise slightly. The Fireball variant is priced at £4,059 UK pounds. The Stellar version is priced at £4,139. The new Meteor Aurora variant is priced at £4,219, and the Supernova, again the same price, £4,219. So no great shocks there, with Royal Enfield keeping very tight control over the retail prices. Right, moving on, that electric Himalayan. Looking through the press release for this electric motorcycle, there's not an awful lot of sort of specifications or information in it, to be quite honest. I've got no idea of the top speed or the range, which there's probably the two main questions people are going to want to know. I don't think anybody really wants electric motorcycles, but unfortunately our madcap governments are sort of pushing us in a direction where eventually they are going to be inevitable. Now, I had a conversation with Mark Wells, the chief engineer at Royal Enfield, about 18 months ago at the Scram 411 launch. I don't know if this is the test mule that they were actually working on at that time. I suspect not, but he did sort of divulge that they were working on an electric test mule and that the work was continuing in order to try and meet the prospective legislations in the future. Now, in that conversation, Mark told me that he envisioned a sort of a guerrilla charging regime with electric motorcycles in the future. And he compared them with mobile phones, or in particular iPhones, because, you know, if you've ever been out riding with a group who, you know, some of them have iPhones, there's a big panic every time you stop as they all rush to try and find somewhere to charge the phone up because, you know, the batteries don't last very long. I'm alright, I've got a Samsung and it lasts about 4 days on a charge. Now actually I think Mark's philosophy was a very relevant one. There are a limit to how many batteries you can sort of stick in a motorcycle, because motorcycles are small, so inherently they're always going to have short ranges, not going to be as practical for, you know, us motorcyclists that like to travel long distances. Now his idea of guerrilla charging was that he wanted to incorporate an easy, convenient charging system on these bikes so that journeys could be broken up into short hops with a short stop where you would just top up the batteries to, you know, whatever level you could in the time available. You would carry out journeys in that manner rather than the sort of thing that we have in our heads whereby you charge the vehicle up to travel a set distance. And this would presumably mean that these should be, you know, capable of being charged from a domestic setup at, you know, cafes, public houses, that kind of thing, without any special infrastructure being in place. I don't know if that is the theory that they're still working on. They may have abandoned it now, but I did find that interesting. What I do find surprising is that they've chosen the Himalayan as a testbed. I mean, there can't be many charging stations over the Himalayas, and I expected that it would be a more sort of commuter-oriented bike, you know, a classic, a Meteor, something along those lines. A city bike where access to electricity is relatively plentiful. Either way, Royal Enfield clearly have to get their head into the game with electric bikes just like everyone else. I just wish I had a bit more information on it to give you. Right, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this and my other videos, and in doing so helping to support this channel. I really do appreciate it. I would also appreciate it if you would consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. You can support the channel in other ways via my Patreon page or via the super thanks button down below. And whatever you decide to do, it's much appreciated. I am of course going to be back later in the week on Friday, so until then please ride safely and I'll see you soon.